Holly, and today I am going to be discussing borderline personality disorder, which is also otherwise known as BPD. Now, if you're new to this channel, I mainly do mental health videos, and I am trying to bust the biggest misconceptions about mental health and also just start an open conversation. And today I'm going to be dealing with the biggest misconceptions of borderline personality disorder by giving you the fact and the myth. Myth number one is that people with BPD are just crazy stalkers. Now, this is incorrect and untrue, and in fact people with BPD are not stalkers. People with BPD have a severe worry around people abandoning them, and they will do anything to stop that from happening. That does not make them a creepy stalker. It is part of their condition. They are not stalkers, they just have a severe anxiety towards the idea of being abandoned, and this is something that is related to their mental health disorder, and it is damaging to name that as stalking when, one, stalking is a pretty bad thing. I think we're all agreed, stalking, not good. Two, it then means that that person can feel more isolated and less likely to ask for help when they feel this way. So let's just completely bust that one right there. It's not, people with BPD are not stalkers. Myth number two, people with BPD are crazy and always fly off the handle. Now, the actual fact, people with BPD struggle with very intense emotions, and these emotions can last days, weeks, or hours. But when they get these intense emotions, they are very hard to deal with, and they can go very quickly from being super high and super happy to the lowest of the low. People with BPD and the intense emotions they feel, it's not the same as the average person who doesn't have BPD or another mental health disorder. It is what you need to imagine is the most intense emotion you've ever felt, and then try and put yourself in a position of feeling that, but even for small or insignificant things, they may seem small and insignificant to you, but that person who's suffering with BPD could have the most intense emotion that you might have ever felt about this particular thing, which does then become quite difficult to control or handle. But they are not crazy, and we should never call anybody with mental health crazy anyway. We need to just throw that out, stop. Myth number three, people with BPD are fake. A lot of people will make comments about people with BPD being fake, but now the fact is people with BPD are not fake. They just really struggle with their own sense of self, which means that their character and their personality can often change, especially when they're around different groups of people. It's not because they're trying to be fake, and it's not because they're acting depending on what group of people they're with. Everybody's interactions, everybody's personality changes a little bit depending on who it is that they're with, whether you're with your parents or you're with your friends, or whether it's with that uncle that you see once a year. Everybody's personality changes slightly depending on who it is that they're with to fit that situation. Somebody with BPD, because they have such a strong uncertainty of their own self, that is just amplified. So when they are with other people, their personality tends to change more because they're trying to figure out exactly who they are and who they're supposed to be. It's not about being fake, it's just an internal struggle that they are going through, and people just need to be more aware of that and a little bit more empathetic towards people who might be struggling or have BPD in general. Fact number four, people with BPD are really cold. Now, when I say cold, I mean like cold-hearted, don't really care. People with BPD can sometimes come across as cold, or as if they don't have any emotion at all, or that they are quite distant or not really there. The actual fact is people with BPD often are filled with a feeling of emptiness. I wouldn't even describe this feeling as the kind of emptiness that comes with depression, because that is a different kind of numb. When I say emptiness, it is a complete emptiness of themselves. So you can feel like you are completely hollow. It's difficult to explain unless you suffer with BPD, but like all mental health disorders, that's why it's important for us to have these discussions so that we can openly talk to friends and family who don't suffer or don't have the same disorder as us, and they can try to learn and understand, because if we don't talk about it, that's where stigma, misconceptions and stereotypes come from, and that's what needs to stop. Myth number five, people with BPD are troublemakers. I understand where this may come from, but the fact is people with BPD often act impulsively and end up in dangerous situations or harmful situations to themselves, and obviously if that is in a group setting, that can come across as that particular person is a troublemaker or is always getting people in trouble or in dangerous situations. Fact is, people with BPD do tend to act impulsively, and it normally is around things that are a danger to themselves. For example, binge eating, causing fights when they're out having a drink with friends, running across roads for no apparent reason as a joke. These are signs and traits of somebody with BPD. it doesn't mean that they're intentionally going out to try and cause trouble, and it doesn't mean that they're trying to get friends or family in trouble either. It is just a symptom of a very complicated disorder, and sometimes you have to look at the whole picture of why that person done the thing that they had done, rather than just labeling them straight away as a bad, naughty or troublemaking person. Myth number 6, people with BPD are just attention seeking. Now, I definitely know where this has come from, but the fact is, people with BPD often do struggle with self-harm and suicidal ideology or suicide attempts. Now, I've already discussed on this channel before, self-harm is not attention seeking. Self-harm is an effect of any number of difficult situations or mental health disorders, and it is never the root cause. So somebody who has BPD, the same as many other mental health disorders, can often struggle with self-harm. They're not calling for attention, and if they are calling for any kind of attention, it is just a sign that they need help, they need intervention. They shouldn't be shamed for the self-harm, because the self-harm is an effect of a mental health disorder that they've got no control of. Fact number 7, people with BPD are always aggressive and angry. Now, again, the fact is, people with BPD have extreme intense emotions, and they can often come on very quickly in a situation. Now, if you think back to when you were a child and something would happen and you would all of a sudden get filled with that complete rage, because when you were younger it is harder to control your emotions, it's harder to handle your emotions, it's harder to process your emotions. That is kind of like what it feels like for somebody with BPD when they are trying to control their emotions. And if they're in a particular situation that incites anger within them, they cannot control it the same as me or you would be able to control it, but they are not dangerous. They're not somebody you should be scared of. If you're friends with somebody with BPD, or you have a member of your family who has BPD, try to talk to them, see what you can do in that situation that would calm them down or that would be helpful. Don't just label them as angry or aggressive, because, as we've said before, these labels are things that make mental health disorders so much more isolated for the sufferer and so much more alienated for anybody on the outside. Final fact is number 8, and that was 10. Number 8, people with BPD are psychopaths. Now, this is completely untrue. I don't like that word being used for mental health in general anyway. Some people with BPD can have episodes of psychosis. Psychosis can completely alter somebody's grip on reality. So they may become delusional, they may be having hallucinations. If somebody with BPD does enter a phase of psychosis, they can often have a lesser grip on reality. They might be suffering with hallucinations, they might not really understand if they are real, the concept of time. There's so many options for what that person might be struggling with or is in at that time and what they are going through. But just to call someone a psychopath because they are struggling with psychosis is completely the wrong way to go about helping or supporting somebody who is in a state of psychosis. Psychosis is so dangerous and it is so scary for the person that's going through it. That person needs as much support as possible. They have not brought that on themselves. It's a mental health disorder, and if you think that somebody that you know is suffering with psychosis, please don't just label them as a psychopath and move on with your day. Make sure that you try and seek help for that person if that person is unable to seek it for themselves. So that's everything for today. I am going to be doing more of these myths and facts videos. So if you like the layout of the video, please give this a thumbs up, and if you leave a comment in the comment section so I know that you're enjoying the way that it's been laid out. If you've got any suggestions for any other topics that you'd like me to cover, leave them in the comments. I'll leave my social medias on the screen so you can go and follow me over there. I do a lot more mental health chat on my Instagram, and I've got TikTok under the same name. If you're not already subscribed, I'd love for you to subscribe. I do mainly mental health videos, but I also do some lifestyle videos. Wherever that you are, I hope you have a lovely morning, day or night. Bye!